Picture this. You're standing in the checkout line at the corner store, holding a 4-pack of toilet paper that costs you $6. Meanwhile, across town, someone just bought a 36-pack at Costco for $18. They paid 50 cents per roll. You just paid $1.50. Same exact product. You're paying triple. Not because you're bad with money, not because you made poor choices, but because you're broke. And here's the part that'll make your blood boil. This isn't just toilet paper. This is literally everything in your life. Most people think being poor means you just have less money. That's obvious, right? But what nobody tells you is that being poor doesn't just mean having less. It means everything costs more. It's a mathematical paradox that traps millions of people in a cycle they can't break. And the worst part? The system is designed this way on purpose. The banking system trap. Let's talk about banks, because if the poverty premium on toilet paper made you frustrated, the banking system is going to make you furious. Imagine you've got $18 in your checking account. It's Tuesday. Payday isn't until Friday. You forgot about a subscription charge. Maybe it's Spotify, maybe it's your phone insurance, doesn't matter. It hits your account for $12. You're now at $6. Then Netflix charges $15. Suddenly, you're negative $9. You didn't buy anything frivolous. You didn't go on a shopping spree. You just forgot about 2 automatic charges that you signed up for months ago. Does the bank call you and say, "Hey, looks like you're having a tough week. We'll spot you the $9 and you can pay us back on Friday"? Absolutely not. They hit you with a $35 overdraft fee. Think about that math for a second. You effectively borrowed $9 from the bank for 3 days, and it cost you $35. If you calculate the annual percentage rate on that transaction, you're paying over 50,000% interest. If a loan shark on the street charged you that rate, they'd go to prison. When a bank does it, it's called a service fee. And here's the sickest part. Banks made over $8 billion in overdraft fees last year. Billion, with a B. And almost all of that money came from people who had less than $1,000 in their accounts. The people who can least afford it are subsidizing the entire banking system. The rich get paid interest on their savings. The poor pay interest just to stay afloat. It's a wealth transfer from the bottom to the top, known as policy. The psychological trap, scarcity mindset. Now, I know what some people are thinking. Just budget better. Just keep track of your subscriptions. Just don't spend money you don't have. And look, on paper, that sounds reasonable. But there's something happening in your brain when you're broke that most people don't understand. It's called scarcity mindset, and it's one of the cruelest tricks poverty plays on you. Scientists at Princeton and Harvard did studies on this. They found that when you're legitimately worried about money, when you're lying awake at night wondering how you're going to pay rent, or if your car is going to make it through the month, or if you can afford your kid's field trip, your brain fundamentally changes. Your cognitive function drops by roughly 13 IQ points. That's the equivalent of losing a full night of sleep. Your brain is so consumed with immediate survival that you literally lose the ability to make long-term strategic decisions. This is why people who are broke often make choices that look completely irrational to outsiders. They take the payday loan with 400% interest. They buy the lottery ticket. They eat fast food instead of meal prepping. They ignore the check engine light. It's not because they're stupid. It's because their mental bandwidth is completely maxed out just trying to survive today. They can't think about next month because they're drowning right now. And here's where the poverty premium becomes a full-blown trap. You're not just paying more money. You're paying with mental energy. A wealthy person buys a quality pair of boots for $50 and doesn't think about their feet for 10 years. That's 10 years of mental freedom. A broke person buys $10 boots that fall apart every year. So every single year, they have to worry about boots again, find the money, go to the store, deal with wet feet in the meantime. That's constant low-level panic. The rich person isn't just saving $50 over 10 years. They're saving a decade of mental energy that they can use to invest, to learn, to build something. The broke person is stuck in an endless loop of putting out fires. Buy nice or buy twice. Cars and housing. Let's scale this up because the poverty premium doesn't stop at toilet paper and bank fees. It shows up in the biggest purchases of your life, the ones that can either build wealth or trap you in debt for decades. Let's talk about cars. In America, unless you live in maybe 3 cities, you need a car to work. It's not optional. A person with good credit and savings buys a 3-year-old Honda or Toyota. Costs maybe $18,000. They pay cash or get a loan at 4% interest. That car runs for 10 years with nothing but oil changes. Total cost of ownership? Low. Predictable. Done. Now let's look at someone with bad credit and no savings. They need a car to get to the job to make the money to eventually not be broke. But they can't get approved at a normal dealership. So they end up at a buy here, pay here lot. You know the ones. Huge flags, guaranteed approval. Cars packed in like sardines. The dealer sells them a high-mileage clunker that's realistically worth maybe $5,000. But they charge $10,000 for it. And because the buyer has bad credit, the interest rate is 22%, sometimes higher. If you do the math over the life of that loan, they'll pay $18,000 for a car that was worth $5,000. And that car will probably break down before the loan is even paid off. So now they're making payments on a dead car sitting in their driveway while simultaneously trying to finance another one. This isn't bad luck. This is a system designed to extract maximum money from people who have the least. You're not just paying for the car. You're paying a risk premium because society has labeled you risky. And the only way to stop being risky is to have money. But you can't save money because you're paying the risk premium. It's a perfect trap. And if you think cars are bad, let's talk about housing. This is the ultimate buy nice or buy twice nightmare. When you rent, you're paying 100% interest. You get zero equity. Every single month, you're paying your landlord's mortgage, plus their profit margin. You're building their wealth while your bank account stays flat. But to buy a house, you need a down payment. $10, $20, sometimes $30,000. If you're spending half your income on rent because housing prices have gone insane, you can never save that down payment. You're trapped. You're paying $2,200 a month for an apartment that would cost you $1,400 a month if you owned it. Over 10 years, that's $96,000 you've paid in rent that vanished into someone else's pocket. Meanwhile, the person who could afford the down payment spent $168,000 on their mortgage, but now they own an asset worth $350,000. They didn't just save money. They built $180,000 in equity. The rich person lowers their monthly costs and gains an appreciating asset. The broke person pays more every month for something they'll never own. You're literally renting your entire existence. Renting your shelter, renting your money through credit card interest, renting your stability. And the cost of renting your life is double what ownership would cost. The hidden time tax. But here's the part that really breaks my heart, and it's something most people never even calculate. There's a hidden tax on your time. And time, unlike money, you can never earn back. Think about laundry. If you own a washer and dryer, doing laundry takes maybe 5 minutes of actual effort. You throw clothes in, press a button, walk away, come back later, and toss them in the dryer. You can work from home, watch your kids, cook dinner, whatever. Your time is yours. Now imagine you don't have a washer and dryer. You have to go to the laundromat. That costs you $6 in quarters, sure, but it also costs you 2.5 hours of your life. You have to pack everything up, travel there, sit there, and guard your stuff so nobody steals it. Wait for machines to free up, travel back. That's 2.5 hours you can't spend working a side gig, resting so you're not exhausted tomorrow, helping your kid with homework, or doing literally anything else. If you value your time at even minimum wage, that laundry trip just cost you $25, not $6. The friction of daily life is astronomically higher when you don't have money. Everything is harder. Everything takes longer. Paying bills means going to the check cashing place and standing in line instead of clicking a button on your phone. Getting to work means 2 bus transfers instead of a 15-minute drive. Fixing something means watching YouTube videos and trying to DIY it because you can't afford to call someone. Every single task has extra steps, extra time, extra energy, and all of that stolen time? That's time you could have used to learn a new skill, start a side business, search for a better job, or just be present with your family. Poverty doesn't just drain your bank account, it drains your future earning potential by stealing the hours you'd need to build something better. You're trapped in maintenance mode, forever fixing today's problems, never getting ahead of tomorrow's. Now, I can already hear the objections. Mike, this is depressing as hell. You're telling me the system is rigged, I'm being taxed for being broke, and I'm screwed because I can't afford the good boots in the first place. And look, I get it. This is depressing. But here's the thing. Understanding the math is the only way to break the equation. Most people never look at these numbers because it's painful. They just feel like they're failing, like they're bad with money, like everyone else has it figured out except them. But you're not failing. You're being mathematically penalized. And once you see the game board clearly, you can stop playing their game and start playing yours. Here's what most financial advice gets wrong. They tell you to invest in the stock market for an 8% return. But if you're broke, the stock market isn't your best investment. Your best investment is escaping the poverty penalties. If you've got credit card debt at 22% interest, paying that off is a guaranteed 22% return. No hedge fund manager in the world can promise you that. If you buy a reliable $40 toaster so you stop replacing the $8 one every year, that's a return on investment. If you fix the small leak now before it becomes a floor replacement, you just saved yourself thousands. The first step out isn't trying to get rich. It's stopping the bleeding. It's plugging the holes where money is pouring out of your life just because you don't have money. And this brings us to the most critical concept, the thing that changes everything, the buffer. The only way to escape the cycle of buying the cheap boots over and over is to create a period where you don't buy boots at all, so you can save up for the good ones. This is why that first $1,000 in savings isn't just boring advice from some financial guru. It's a weapon. It's the thing that destroys the poverty premium. When you have $1,000 in the bank, a flat tire stops being a financial crisis that forces you into a payday loan at 400% interest. It's just an annoying Tuesday. That $1,000 lets you raise your car insurance deductible from $250 to $1,000, which can cut your monthly premium by $40. You just gave yourself a $480 annual raise without your boss doing anything. That $1,000 lets you buy the bulk toilet paper. It lets you fix your car before the check engine light turns into a blown transmission. It lets you go to the dentist for the cavity before it becomes a root canal. That buffer switches the entire game from defense to offense. You stop reacting to emergencies and start preventing them. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. You need to stop looking at purchases as just spending and start seeing them as either solving a problem permanently or signing up for a subscription to that problem. So, here's your assignment, and I'm serious about this. This weekend, when you're not exhausted from work, when your brain actually has bandwidth, sit down and audit your life for vampire costs. These are expenses that only exist because you don't have money. Are you paying overdraft fees? Buying single rolls of paper towels? Paying 24% interest on a car? Renting furniture? Identify the biggest leak first, then cut everything else, and I mean everything, until you have the cash to plug that specific hole. If you need $600 to fix your car so it stops burning oil and destroying your engine, selling old stuff on Facebook Marketplace, or doing DoorDash for 2 weekends isn't just making extra money. It's a strategic military strike against a future $3,000 expense. You're buying your way out of the trap one decision at a time. This journey isn't fair. I'm not going to lie to you and pretend it's an even playing field. It takes 10 times more effort to go from $0 to $10,000 than it does to go from $10,000 to $100,000. The wind is in your face at the start, But once you understand that being broke is a mathematical penalty, not a personal failure, you can stop blaming yourself and start attacking the penalties. You stop playing their game and start playing yours.